falls alone sometime, and wild geese cross the summer sky. The forest floor lies waiting for the falling leaves, and me at the long day's end will find my friend. I'm coming home to tender hearts. The world is blind, and to gentlemen can be unkind. But the evening star is shining for the nightingale, and whales swim to warmer seas. So come lay by me, you're coming home. Fall foul the rain, love wound its way, rose from the earth below and filled my heart with bloom. A sweet wind blows on a swirling night, whose darkest heart is an endless light. It's calling us by blood and dust and timeless soul to grow. Though we come and go like gentle snow, we're coming home, always coming
I just grab a tablet, pen? Yeah. I just went live, so I gotta get over here. Do you want us to move up a row? Sure, yeah, move on up. Everybody out there in the video world. I gotta do a little bit of a sound check here with everyone out there, make sure we're working. Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, how's it going? Yeah. Hi, everybody. We'll be ready in a minute. Oh, I gotta fix the camera. Hold on one second. As long as I'm doing this, let me check. Is this working?
It is working. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Let me go get that. Be right back.
Maybe the set feels better, but it's like, it's the starting to feeling now, so I'll get the tickets each night.
Oh, yeah, we got. I think I got rid of my Facebook one from the.
Yeah, they're good.
Okay, or
They're
YouTube,
good.
if you can. If not, it's okay. I just thought I'd test it.
So I have real issues with
I
them.
know, I don't.
But let me see, I might still have it on here. Oh, it's here.
Let's see, here I come. It's a little delay here. There I am. Yeah, you can see my little bald head. Okay. move up just a little bit for the camera.
Do you have Facebook on your phone?
No.
That's okay. Actually, I see it here. It's actually looking good.
No, you're good.
We got a few people up. Sorry for the delay here. Jeff's not here tonight. Usually Jeff takes care of all this stuff, and this is my first time doing it myself. And I got it up and running. If you were here earlier, you got to see I did if you're online earlier, I actually even did a like a little pre-session with music. It was all, by the way, that music was all Jeff Kingfisher. Oop. Let me turn that down. Yeah, you can kind of see me. I cuts my head off though. I don't know why. All right, so let me just move a couple more things and we'll get started. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. Yay, the night before Thanksgiving. And all is well. Tonight is gratitude, love, and abundance. How does that work together? We're gonna find out. So welcome to Wednesday Night Wisdom Share Sacred Practices. If you're here, all the people who have come tonight, thank you all for coming. We only have a few because it's a holiday evening, but and everybody online, a bunch of people online, so how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving. I just thought I'd start with a few announcements. We have next week, we're actually closed because we're having our whole place remodeled. We're having the carpets all taken care of, so there's not going to be any Wednesday Night Wisdom Share. And there's a couple other things that aren't happening next week. There's a class that's finished, right?
Right. Nothing happens between Monday and then Friday evening. We're having Christmas decorating at 3.
We have Christmas decorating at 3. And what's that chili thing?
Chili cook-off at 5. So,
That's open to everybody, right?
yes.
So next
Does
Friday.
decorating as well, if you want to come help.
Okay, so at 3 o'clock, so everything's closed next week because of the recarpeting and finishing up this construction stuff we're doing. And then that same afternoon, we're going to be putting up the Christmas decorations. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but we're going to put everything back together and put Christmas decorations up at 3. And then at 5, we're having a chili cook-off where the ministers are all making their chili, and then we're going to have a vote who's the best chili. Mine's the vegan one, just so you know. Anyway, what else? So the following week, we're going to have, I believe it's Peter Bedard, and he's going to be sharing, I think when we talked, we're still waiting to get all of the information, but I think he's going to touch on anger. You know, he does a pretty good job with pain, so I think he'll do a good job with anger. I believe that's what he's going to talk about. And then next week, we have Veronica, which is somebody new. I met her up in Yucca Valley at the Center for Spiritual Living up in Yucca Valley. Did you know there's a Center for Spiritual Living up there? Yeah, there's a cute, sweet little, just right before Joshua Tree, real sweet. I went and spoke there a couple weeks ago, and I met this lady, Veronica, and she wrote a book that has a bit of, it's about the Course in Miracles. And I love the Course in Miracles. I've been actually doing my own Course in Miracles right now. I'm on day 23 with Marianne Williamson. It's really cool. It's just, it just gives you a little course every day. But anyway, she's going to come and share. And I love it. So Course in Miracles really transformed. I mean, I've done a lot of work in science of mind when it comes to understanding that my thoughts are creative and that my connection with the divine and all that combined together is very powerful, right? Well, I'm telling you something. I'm still learning a lot about the thoughts in my head and the beliefs that I think are real and the things that I don't think are real and fears and love, because the Course in Miracles, the miracle is, anyone know what the miracle is in the Course in Miracles?
No. What?
The miracle actually is just a simple shift from the perception of fear to the perception of love.
Oh.
And when you have a
How many
conscious,
lessons are there?
there's I don't know, it's a whole year.
Year?
I'm doing a whole year just to get that, right? But there's a lot of conditioning, a lot of conditioning that we're all born into. And so I bought into it hook, line, and sinker when it comes to all that fear stuff, So I really have been doing work for a long time, and still there's so much more. So I'm really excited for Veronica. And I'm going to send out the email, though, so if you'll see it all in the email. And then the following week, we're going to do it on a Tuesday. This is kind of interesting because it happens to be the solstice. And Jeff's all excited about it. And he wants to do the solstice on Tuesday. So we're going to change that from Wednesday to Tuesday that particular week. And then I think the last Wednesday, because there's 5 Wednesdays actually in December, the last Wednesday is Reverend Vince. And I forget what he said he's going to do. Sorry, Vince. But, he's talking about intentions and goals. What a perfect opportunity, right before the new year. Intentions and goals. So that's the last Wednesday. And then on the 31st, New Year's Eve, I'm going to do a sound bath on New Year's Eve. So come for that. That's a Friday night. So anyway, do you happen to know the number for the text to give?
I do. I just
Okay.
used it.
Thank you. So we really appreciate all your love and support that helps keep this beautiful spiritual community running and operating and all the things that we have to do, including all this construction work we had to do. We got some money because of the flood from the insurance, but they didn't cover it all, of course. But we're very grateful for what we got. But we're grateful for your support, your love of time, talent, and treasure. And so we're very grateful for that. And if you'd like, you can text to give at 760 389 1333. 760-389-1333. And then you just type in the word wisdom. You type in the dollar amount, and then you just type in the word wisdom, and it goes to tonight's, it'll be recorded for our Wednesday Night Wisdom Share. So I think that's it on announcements, huh? Yeah, so good. So we'll get settled and centered. Give ourselves some space to stop everything and to be here now in this moment. I'm going to do a little mini sound bath tonight with my 3 little bowls here. And so we begin just by observing our body, just sitting here in this moment, right here, right now, breathing this breath. We give ourselves permission to stop everything, to let go of any projections into the future, ruminating about the past. Just bring our full attention, our full awareness to this exact moment, sitting in this chair, breathing this breath, right here, right now. So wherever you are, whether you're in this room or online, we can create and co-create this sacred space for ourselves, individually and collectively, knowing that there is only one mind and that we're all a part of this one consciousness, this one mind. So that we are now, right now, in this moment, creating and co-creating a sacred space for our hearts to open, to hear exactly what our soul needs to hear tonight. That each of us is here on purpose this evening to receive exactly what we need to receive. In this sacred space, we know that we are supporting each other, uplifting each other, as we open up our mind and our hearts to receive. In this place, we align with the infinite and ancient peace, a peace that's always here. And within this peace, there is a wisdom, an inner guide, higher power, God, however you relate with that. We open up to this wisdom. And in this sacred space that we've co-created, we know that all is unfolding with perfect divine order this evening. That this infinite, beloved, creative power and source that's created all of life is working in, as, and through each one of us, in, as, and through me. And so we open up to this divine essence and allow it to flow. And so with this knowing, we give thanks in advance for a beautiful evening, and that all the right perfect people are here this evening to create the sacred space in the circle. And now we surrender it. deeply surrendering. As we throw the doors wide open to the infinite possibilities, allowing Spirit to have its way with us this evening. We claim this is so with a great sense of knowing and expectancy. We say together, and so it is. I'm in alignment now. So, gratitude, love and abundance. Gratitude's an interesting thing, isn't it? To me, it's like a medicine, a healing balm, you know? So easy for us to get caught up in what we don't have. You know, it's in our culture. I think it's in our culture, this tendency to want bigger, better, more, or compare ourselves. I call it the disease of comparisons. We might so easily to compare ourselves to other people. And if we have any of this kind of like, I'm not enough, or I don't measure up, or any of that at all, we'll find somebody on that social media that we can compare ourselves to. And it's a cultural thing. You know, maybe individually we don't have so much of that anymore. We're all evolved beings, right? But it happens sometimes, right? Right? We get caught up in that. And so to be grateful takes practice, you know, to align in the vibration of gratitude. The beautiful thing about gratitude, in my experience, is that gratitude opens me up. It opens me up to the infinite possibilities of who I am, who I'm becoming. And it also opens me up to prosperity. Because when I'm in that place of openness and gratefulness, it's a givingness, right? And so as you give, what do they say? So shall you receive, right? So we really literally open up into the divine connection with the law of reciprocity and the law of giving and receiving, you know? So gratitude opens us up, and gratefulness closes us down. I work in early addiction recovery, and I know many of you know that already, but I see a lot of people who struggle so much with self-worth. And they have all these walls up and personas going on, you know, and the work I do with them is to just create space to have them hopefully remember their true self. That's perfect, whole, and complete, just as they are. Even though they may have some issues they're working on or working through, underneath those issues, there's a wholeness there. There's a perfection. There's a divine spark. There's a power and a source that's always there. And it's absolutely perfect, whole, and complete. Well, we get so caught up in this, I'm not enough, I don't measure up. And if we have a tendency sometimes to be looking at what's wrong with everything, that might be the conversation we're having in our head all the time. We might notice we complain a lot. You know, we might notice that we're looking at what's wrong with everything, and that somehow I don't measure up. All that stuff is going on. And so if I'm constantly in that, or a lot of it's unconscious, but if I'm doing that a lot, you know, kind of, you know, a lot of the complaining that we do, complaining to me is a sign of ungratefulness, you know? And if I'm complaining a lot about a lot of, you know, petty ass stuff that really is not very important, but I still want to complain, you know, because it gives me a little charge, you know, on anybody else. You know, I can go down that road. You know, I was born and raised in that. I was born and raised in this looking what's wrong with everything. I could walk into a room and I'll find the one thing that's out of place. I'm really good at that. The one person's a little bit weird, a little bit off, you know, or my projection onto that person, you know. It's amazing to me. I don't do it anymore, of course, because I've evolved. I float. You see me floating? Yeah. But I catch myself. You see, now I know. I'm learning how to work with that. And if I'm constantly complaining, it leads to unworthiness. It leads to unworthiness. It leads to, I'm not enough. I don't measure up. I don't fit in. Because I'm not being grateful for who I am and what I actually have and the true self. I've covered that up with some conversation that's not even true. This narrative, story that's not even true, you know. So it's a practice when we catch ourselves. I actually have some bands here, and unfortunately I can't give you a band online, but I have a few bands, and I'm going to pass them out here. Hold on a second. Oh. Steve, can you come help me pass these out? And just have them pick their favorite color, whatever color it is. That's okay. And just pick your. We're gonna pick a band. And if you're at home, maybe a rubber band or hair. I know some people have hair. You may have like a little hair ponytail thing that you hold your point, or you might have a little beads like this. You might find something, it could just be like, I love these, Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, cool. And so the way this works, and this is really powerful for the holidays, so that we can enjoy our holidays more. And I got this book, actually, I got this practice from a book called The Complaint-Free World. Has anyone ever heard of it? It's called The Complaint-Free World. You heard of it? And this guy, and I'm going to kind of ad-lib because it's been a long time since I read the book, but he was a minister of a church, a large congregation of people. And he just started noticing that everyone's complaining about everything. Like they're always looking what's wrong with everything. They're not looking at what's right. It's this beautiful community, and they're always looking what's wrong. It's always hearing about what's wrong. Complaining, his whole congregation. Then he finds himself complaining about the complainers to everybody, So he was so frustrated in that and just beside himself. And then he started noticing this is going on not just in his community, it's going on in the community at large, it's going on in the world. This tendency to be so hyper-focused on what's wrong with everything, complaining and whining and moaning, and not hearing a lot of the wonderful gratitude and of looking at what we have. He just noticed that. So he wrote this book called The Complaint-Free World. And I think what happened out of pure frustration, if I remember correctly, out of pure frustration, he actually stopped and prayed. Usually that's when we wait till we pray, right? When we're frustrated. And he asked his inner wisdom, higher power, God, to guide him how to heal this within himself, I think. It started within himself. And I guess he happened to have a rubber band on his wrist or something. And it occurred to him to start practicing every time that he found himself complaining. What do you think he did? He pulled it back as far as he can, snapped the hell out of himself. No, that's not what he did. This is not another practice to beat up on ourselves, okay, just so you know. What he did was he took the rubber band and he moved it from one wrist to the other. Every time he found himself complaining out loud, he would move the wristband from one wrist to the other. Every time. And he started with just complaining when he was complaining out loud. When he was on the phone with the family, when he was on whatever, he would take that wristband and move it from one wrist to the other every time he found himself complaining. And I thought, wow, this is a pretty cool practice, right? So I tried it. I don't know if I lasted 3 days, but and so I added to it now a practice of gratitude. That when I find myself complaining or thinking that I'm not enough, somehow I don't measure up or I don't fit in, what I do is I catch that, and I do, as I'm moving it from, if I catch myself like complaining, oh, I don't feel like I fit in here, I don't measure up, these people are bad, whatever that is, that story of lack, right, or whatever. When I catch it, just like when I'm complaining, I'm going to catch it and I'm going to move it to my other hand while I'm doing an affirmation of truth. I'm going to say to myself, hey, you know what? I'm perfect just as I am. And I'm growing, I'm learning stuff, but I'm okay. I do that when I have social anxiety. I tell myself, I catch it. Because as soon as I walk into a thing where I'm outside of my comfort zone, I'll catch it. And right away, all my insecurities are right there. And those insecurities are based on lies that aren't true. But they feel true because I've been telling myself for so long. And so I catch it and I say, okay, no, Mark, just be yourself. Just nothing to prove, nothing to defend. Just be yourself. Enjoy your evening. Say hi to people. Go say hi to someone you don't know. Get outside of your comfort zone. And so I affirm that because I used to suffer from horrible, almost paralyzing insecurities. And especially if I was outside of my social network, That's why you think I used to drink as much as I drank, you know, because it took the edge off, you know. But when I got sober, I'm like, oh, now what am I going to do? You know, you got to learn how to listen to some of that discomfort and not make it wrong. That's another thing, really. Like when you think about, we're so hard on ourselves when we have any kind of emotional discomfort, right? I shouldn't be feeling this. Something must be wrong with me. What is that? It's a complaint against yourself. We're complaining against ourselves that I shouldn't be feeling this. If I was evolved, I wouldn't be feeling this way anymore. That's a complaint, and it's a lie. So what could I say when I catch myself saying that? All my emotions are valid. What else?
I was filling in a blank.
Yeah.
Right, so when you say it's all your emotions are valid.
All my emotions are valid. You know, they're not bad just because they're not pleasant all the time. You know? I sometimes wake up in the morning in the funk. You ever wake up in the morning in the funk? You don't want to get out of bed? Anyone ever have that experience? No? Good. I do. But I've learned how to work with that and practice gratitude when I'm in that space. What happened years ago, I was probably 3 or 4 years sober, and I was in a bad space. I had a lot going on in my life, and things weren't going the way I thought they were going to go, and it was challenging. It was a challenging time. And I was actually living here, and it was cold. It was a cold winter morning. We have cold winter mornings here sometimes. You notice that? when in the wintertime? It's cloudy and the sun doesn't come out. It can get cold inside the house. And so I was laying in the bed, and it was kind of cold, and I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to deal with my day. And I'm laying there in the funk. The night before, I had been to a meeting, an AA meeting, actually, and I was at the meeting, and they were talking about gratitude. Oh, just do gratitude, read 417 in the big book, and just acceptance is the key. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Whatever. I'm not feeling it. You know, they keep talking about gratitude, but I'm not feeling it. I wasn't really grateful. I just was kind of overwhelmed by whatever I had going on. I can't even remember exactly what it was at all. But, so the next morning I wake up in the funk. And it's kind of like a subtle depression probably, you know, when I look back on it. It had been going on for a little while. And while I was laying there, my cat jumped on the bed. And he curled up between my legs, like he always does, you know. And I was like, oh, there's my little kitty, you know. And he kind of curled up in there, and I just felt my love for my cat. I was like, I'm so grateful for this cat. I'm grateful for my bed, that I have a nice, comfortable bed with warm covers, you know. And I can walk out of when I get up, I can go to the bathroom and turn a couple levers, and hot water's going to come out. I can take a nice hot shower in my own house. And I can go downstairs and start a pot of coffee and have food in my refrigerator to make myself a nice breakfast. And within a minute, this all happened within a minute, I felt the contrast of me being stuck in that funk. It was heavy. I'd been there for a while. And then just practicing that gratitude, because I remember that meeting the night before. And I practiced the gratitude. And within that minute, it's like I could breathe, like something opened up, and I felt the contrast of ungratefulness versus gratefulness. You know, and everything changed. And I really started practicing gratitude. I realized that's the medicine I need. And I need to do it for myself. And that's a vulnerable process. It's not easy, especially when you're not feeling it. It's the hardest thing to do when you're not feeling it, but it's the most important time to practice, right? So, one of the videos that I like to show when I'm teaching about gratitude is a video from this guy named Nick Vujicic. Have you heard of Nick Vujicic? Anybody? He was a guy who was born in Australia, and he was born with no arms and no legs. Do you know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, he went to my high school. I saw that.
He spoke at your high school?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, recently, the kids that are there now.
Oh, cool.
But I just saw they had a big thing
Yeah.
about it online.
So Nick was born with no arms and no legs, and at some point in his adolescence, he had an experience where he was feeling so sorry for himself, that how am I going to ever have a real life because of this, you know? And something happened when he was in a real bad space. I think it was 9 or 10 years old. He was young when this happened. And he said, I need to start looking at what I have and not what I don't have. And he shifted his attention to look at gratitude for all that he did have. And that shift ended up changing his life. He started looking at what he had versus what he didn't have. Of course, what he didn't have, he was missing his arms and his legs, but when he started looking at what he had a shift in perspective from ungratefulness to gratefulness. And he opened up. And because of that, he started practicing. He felt the shift. He felt the change. He felt the wristband moving. He had this experience. And from that moment forward, he said, I can't do anything about the fact that I don't have any arms or legs. But what I can do is be grateful for what I have. And then he started really sharing his gifts and talents in the world. And now he goes all over the world and helps hundreds and thousands of people because he chose, I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to step into gratitude, looking at what I have versus what I don't have. So I think we all have sometimes challenges or weaknesses, missing something. Something feels like it's missing, and we feel like we're not enough, we don't measure up. And so it's in those instances that we can catch it and say, hey, what do I have? We have so much. What do I have? I have fresh, clean water. I have someone I have love in my life. I have people, my dog, all these things, so many things I could really start to focus on what I love and what I have. It literally opens us up to possibility and potential. And so I want to do a little reading out of the Science of Mind tonight. My book is a mess, sorry. Don't look at it. I have a nice copy at home. It's been in my car, huh? It's well used, it is. I love this one because it's really kicks in the holiday. It's very beautiful, very welcoming. And he says, this is from Ernest Holmes, Dr. Ernest Holmes. He says, peace be unto you, stranger. Peace be unto thee. Enter and be not afraid. I have let the gate open, and thou art welcome in my home. There is room in my house for all. I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid, and the fruits of life are spread before thee. The wine and tea is also there, sparkling in the light. I have set a chair for you, where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit, drink of the drink. All is yours, and you are welcome here. So if we could walk through our holiday with that kind of energy, welcoming, right? I think being grateful creates that space for welcoming too, doesn't it? Yeah. There's another reading I was going to read here. This is from page 497 of the Science of Mind. In everything give thanks. An attitude of gratitude is the most salutary, and bespeaks the realization that we are now in heaven. How we love to do for those who we cooperate with, and are grateful for our small endeavors. Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity and oneness. He says, pray without ceasing, this prayer of gratitude. This means to be always on the affirmative side of life. To pray without ceasing is to doubt never, but to always trust in the law of good. This inner communion is essential to the soul and nature to the and natural to the mind. It is a constant recognition of our relationship to that presence in which we live, move, and have our being. Pray without ceasing. So prayer is a practice that we can literally work every day. You know, I love when I first stumbled upon the teachings of New Thought. I started with Unity. Did anyone hear of Unity Church? Yeah. I started with Unity. And it was a good stepping stone for me because I was born and raised Catholic. It was a reach for me to come right to Science of Mind. Because Unity has a bit more of a Christian base, the way they talk about spirituality, which I love and still love. I think they do a really great job with that. And anyway, I would go, and they sang this one song, and it goes, my thoughts are prayers, and I am always praying. My thoughts are prayers, listen to what I'm saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always here, because in every thought becomes a prayer. That's sweet. And they would sing it like 3 times, and choirs, and it sounded very much better than I just did, but you get the gist, right? So our thoughts are prayers. What is a prayer? Prayer is a communing, right? Isn't that what I think prayer is? Prayer is a communing with an inner ground, an inner peace, an inner wisdom, a higher self, a higher power, right? It's a prayer, it's a communing. So if I can think that all my thoughts are prayers, well, I'm going to be a lot more conscious of what I'm praying, right? What I'm saying, what I'm thinking. I love my teacher, Reverend Dr. Don Burt. He's told me when I was 28 years old, I still had hair back then, much younger. 30 years ago, oh my God, wow. And he said to me, stand guard at the threshold of your mind. Stand guard at the threshold of your mind and watch what you are saying. Watch what you're thinking. Stand guard at the threshold of your mind. Not in a hyper-vigilant way, like to make it wrong if you say, but in a conscious, self-compassionate, self-loving way. Stand guard. What works and what doesn't work, right? This looking at what's wrong with everything closes us down. Gratitude opens us up. You see? So I thought I would do a little gratitude practice, sacred practice. We call this sacred practice and wisdom shares, right? Don't we? Wednesday night, yeah. No, wisdom shares and sacred practices. Well, we've been doing it for 3 years. Wisdom shares and sacred practices. And so I want to do a sacred practice with you all tonight. And it's just going to be a little guided meditation for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to create some space for us to align in that vibration of gratefulness, okay? Whether you're here or online, hello everybody online, we're going to do that now, so create a nice space for yourself. Did anyone want to make any comments yet so far about what I shared, or any questions, comments? No? We're all good? Okay. Well, let's do this. Hopefully some of the sounds will be picked up by the mic here. I don't know. I hope it does. Let me know online, although. Let's see. So we begin by taking a few conscious breaths. Just noticing our body breathing right now. Noticing what it feels like to breathe in this moment. As we give thanks for this breath, this prana, life force, that has been breathing us since the day we were born. Sometimes we forget to give thanks for this breath. Just noticing the subtle movement of the body with each breath. As we create some space now, co-create a sacred space to release anything we want to let go of that we may have carried in this evening, might be holding on to. Anything at all that may be bothering you or has been bothering you. Just imagine setting it outside the space or the building that you're in as we create this sacred space now. To just stop everything and to be here now. Nothing to fix right now, nothing we have to figure out, nothing to judge or critique, prove or defend. Know that we're perfect, whole, and complete, right where we are, just as we are. Even though we may be working on some things or stuff we're working on or working through. Underneath all of that is our natural, innate state of wholeness. We give thanks for this amazing, beautiful body. This body that is breathing our lungs and beating our hearts right now. This body that is operating trillions of functions simultaneously right now in this moment. That all the different organs and fibers and all the different cells, everything working in concert with all the other parts of the body, just so that you could be healthy enough to be here right now, alive in this moment. We give thanks for this beautiful body that has the capacity to heal if we have a wound or if you're sick or some disease. As we take care and nurture this body, tend to it, feed it nourishing beverages and foods, creating space to align in the vibration of peace, love, oneness, and harmony. We create the space for our immune system to be emboldened to do its work, to heal what needs to be healed. And the body's working 24/7 on our behalf to keep us in this state of homeostasis, of natural balance. Give thanks for this beautiful body right where it is, just as it is. And if you happen to be experiencing any challenge in the body, any disturbance, blocks, allow yourself to love this body as we bring this healing, vibrant energy of gratitude and love to the entire body system, this body temple, especially to any areas that we know that we may need a little support and help right now. And we give thanks for these senses that we have. We have these 5 senses with the capacity to see the magnificence of this beautiful earth that we live in and on. This beautiful blue planet that is teeming with life in so many different ways. We have the capacity with our eyes to see magnificence, spectacular mountains and oceans and life that is everywhere present. We have the capacity to taste the flavors that are offered up from the garden of life. can smell the fragrances, the beautiful fragrances that the earth has given to us. And we can touch and feel the soft breeze on our skin, the warmth of the sun, or even the chill of the morning air. We give thanks for our five senses that give us the capacity to experience the fullness of life. The beauty that surrounds us and is within us. We give thanks for this brilliant mind. This mind that has the capacity to project into an imagined future and to remember the past. It is so amazingly creative that we can create something out of nothing with just an idea. We give thanks for this brilliant mind that gives us the capacity to choose what we want to pay attention to, what we don't want to pay attention to so much, that can learn and create. This mind is conscious and aware, that we are conscious beings, that we could observe something, be conscious that we're observing it. What a gift. That we could observe this thing called life, and we're conscious that we're observing this thing called life within us and all around us. We give thanks for life itself. Here we are, sitting wherever we're sitting in this moment, alive, floating on a planet Earth, in the middle of a vast and infinite universe, this beautiful blue planet Earth. And as far as our greatest telescopes can see in every direction, and they can see 100,000 light years in every direction, it would take us 100,000 years traveling at the speed of light to reach how far our telescopes can see. And we've yet to find another blue planet that sustains life like this one. This is a miracle. You are a miracle. A beautiful, unique expression of life. Give me thanks for your own self. The beautiful expression that you are in the world. There's nobody like you. Nobody has the same fingerprints. Nobody looks the same way that you do. There's billions of people on this planet. There's nobody who expresses the way that you do, or has the same gifts, talents, qualities, or attributes in the way that you do. Nobody. And the most amazing thing is that nobody ever has and nobody ever will. You are a miracle. A beautiful, unique expression of life, just as you are right now. Perfect, whole, and complete, a miracle. We give thanks for our own self. I invite you now to contemplate all the things that you really know that you love and are grateful for and appreciate. I invite you to start just with one thing, maybe a dog, your dog, or somebody you really know you love, a child. Just allow yourself to focus on just one thing, one person, one thing that you really know that you love, are grateful for, and appreciate. Allow yourself to focus on that love and gratitude and to feel it, like really allow yourself to feel it right now. Allowing this energy and vibration of gratitude now to contemplate now the many things that you are grateful for, people that you love, the animals. Think of as many people, animals, pets, whatever it is that you can think of right now that you're grateful for and you know that you're grateful for and that you appreciate and love. And just allow this gratitude now to expand. Maybe think of some people you haven't thought of in a long time. Whether they're present or past. Vibration of gratitude to yourself, to the core and center of your own being, the sanctuary within. Imagine this vibration, energy of gratitude filling your body, this love. Like a beautiful golden light coursing through all of your cells of your body. Feeling this gratitude moving through your mind, dissolving old patterns that just no longer serve. Old concepts or stories. That if we just step back a little bit, we can see that they're not true. Just basking in this vibration of gratitude. Powerful, vibrant energy that has the power to shift our awareness and heal our perceptions. In an instant, we can shift towards contemplating what we have versus what we feel we don't have. We could allow this vibration of gratitude to be infused throughout our holidays, even with family. Sometimes it can be somewhat challenging. We could practice compassion, understanding, givingness for ourselves and for them. And we can give this to the world, this vibration of gratitude, love, and appreciation. And we can expand our gratitude by sharing what we're grateful for to the people that we know. When we see them perhaps doing something that we appreciate, the way they handled something, we can make sure that we tell them that we appreciated it, that we saw that good in them, quality or attribute. Whether it's the clerk at the grocery store or the barista at the coffee house, or we can share this gratitude. We could bring this energy and vibration of gratitude even to our challenging situations or experiences. And we can give space to what might be going on, and we could contemplate with a sense of gratitude, even though we might not always like exactly the way things are going down. We could bring this vibration of gratitude to the situation or challenge and ask with compassion, how am I growing? What is this teaching me? What would be the highest and best way for me to respond for myself and for the world to this challenge or to this irritant or whatever it is? And so gratitude opens us up. Gratitude leads to abundance. We're living a fulfilling life, a joyful life. And so as we begin to bring our attention back to our body, sitting here, wherever we find ourselves, let's begin to bring our attention back to the space that we find ourselves, or back to the room, back to each other. So gratitude is a practice, not always easy, right? Some days more than others. Yeah. You know, anyone notice? So, what do you notice? What do you notice during that practice? Anybody want to share? I have a little mic here if anyone wants to share, so people online, if anyone, you don't have to share, but if anyone wants to. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm making you get up too. All right.
My name is Paul, and I have a comment and then I have a question.
Okay.
I love what you said early on about always wanting more. I was at a movie theater and being inundated by these ads, for sugary soft drinks and junk food. And I'm like, well, gosh, no wonder I was a little overweight in college. And I think the commercials and the advertisers, they just are trying to push consumption on us. And more is more when oftentimes, for me anyway, it's not more. Just keeping it simple is a much better way for me to live, for the most part. So you brought up the law of reciprocity. So is the law of reciprocity similar to the law of attraction, or is there a little bit of a difference?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just kind of the way New Thought talks about the law, that there's
Okay.
like laws and principles, and the way we, what we give, so shall we receive. So I think, yeah, the vibration
Okay.
is a vibrational energy thing too,
Okay.
right? And so is the
Yeah.
law of attraction, is a vibrational energy thing. Like if I'm walking around always whining, complaining, bitching and moaning about everything, right? If I'm kind of like in that energy all the time, what am I going to attract? People who kind of like that, right? Or if I'm walking around and positive and energetic and kind and giving and grateful, I'm going to attract a lot more of that. So yeah, I think it's the same thing, 'cause that's what we give, so shall we receive. So energetically, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
What that brought up for me was I'm in a program, and when I first got in the program, they encouraged me to do a gratitude list. And it was one of those gratitude lists that's an email chain, and I would get like 20 to 30 emails a day from people I didn't even know, and I was not grateful for that. But I was ungrateful for the extra emails. But once I got the message of it and into that practice of, like you said, waking up and going to gratitude. I like what you said about your cat and how that kind of shifted your perspective. Yeah, that's been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
And it was really great to hear you tonight, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, anyone else want to share? No? Okay.
I would just say briefly, as we did the meditation, I felt myself opening up, just kind of an expansive feeling just kind of took over physically. And I didn't realize that I'd really kind of left the room till you said, it's time to come back.
Interesting, yeah. I got all heated up during that. Did you guys feel the energy heat up in the room or something? I don't know, it felt like this heat. I don't know, maybe it's the lights or something, but right in the middle of it, I felt all this energy of heat. But yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah. So yeah, that's what gratitude does, right? And so I want to close with a story about abundance and gratitude and how it can bring on abundance. And anyway, I listened to a lady that I know Reverend Vince talks about every so often. We both know her. He knew her a little better than I did, but she spoke at a couple conferences that I helped to run. And her name is August Gold, and she wrote a book called The Prayer Chest. And I was in my, I was in my 30s, my early 30s, and I was going through some healing work. I was kind of an angry person. And I was really good at sugarcoating that, and people couldn't really tell, but I was angry on the inside, a lot, and very, very negative. And she said something, and I was angry about my childhood. I was really, I shouldn't have been the way it was, and I had a lot of insanity in my childhood. I don't have time to get into it right now. We need another hour. But this lady, August Gold, she's a very vivacious woman, just like all over. She's moving around the room. She had us like in this circle, and she's going around the whole room talking. She's just really energetic out there, And she said something that quite literally, I think, changed my life. Because where I was at, I was in a vulnerable place. I was doing some healing work, and I wanted to heal this past. I wanted to heal what had gone on with my family, my mother, and all the insanity. And she said, there's two ways of looking at your life. One way is looking at it, why did this happen to me? Wah, 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 right? Whining, moaning, complaining about why life didn't occur the way I wanted it to, or should have, right? And she, just as just a side note though, it doesn't mean that if you're the victim of something that you don't take the time to heal that and do the work that needs to be done around if you were the victim of something. It's important to do that. But for how long? She says you don't want to stay stuck in that. And she was telling this, that was kind of part of her whole talk. So acknowledge that whatever happened, it happened, and there was a victim. We've all been victim in the past, and every one of us have had some experiences. She says, instead of why this happened to me, she says, a subtle shift in the angle and the way we look at our life. Now, this guy, Nick Vajojic, was born with no arms, no legs. Why did this happen to me? This shouldn't have happened. And quite often these things happen. No one did it to us necessarily. It's just life, And he could have laid there on the couch his whole life. Why did this happen to me? But at some point, and this is what August Gold said, like let's say this is my life. This bowl is my life. I'm observing it from this angle, why this happened to me. All we need is a subtle shift in the angle of the way we're looking at our life and asking, why has this happened for me? How has this asked me to grow? What have I learned? What are my strengths that I've gotten because of what I've been through? How can I help others who may have been through what I have been through? If I can't resolve it, this is a very powerful thing to do. How can I help other people that I wouldn't have been able to help if I hadn't gone through that? That subtle shift from why this happened to me to why this happened for me opened up my whole life. And I started recognizing that I had a lot of gifts and talents I didn't even know I had. Like there was I was very independent and very resourceful, self-resourceful. I moved out of my house when I was 17 years old. I worked 2 or 3 jobs. I was a little hard worker. I don't know why. I had this kind of, I don't see a lot of kids like that. But I really had that. I really had this work ethic and this, really focused. And maybe part of it was survival, right? I'm sure a lot of it was survival. But it made me stronger in that way. And it made me stronger. My mother was like, you or like it, or we have ways of making you like it. She was very much a perfectionist, And in my work and my trade, I was able to incorporate that. And it made me really good at the work I did. I was really a perfectionist. And actually quite a bit uptight at first. But I kind of learned as I went along that I don't have to always be uptight. And so one day, here's the prosperity thing, and then we'll close on this. I was living in Huntsville, Alabama, with my beloved teacher, Reverend David Leonard, and a whole bunch of wonderful people who lived there. We had a beautiful spiritual community there, of all places. I'll tell you some other day how I ended up there. But I was in a really bad space. I woke up in the funk. I didn't have a lot of money. For some reason, all my work was always word of mouth, and I always had someone giving me work, because I was good at it, and I did some cool design work at the time, and people kind of heard about me. But anyway, it was like getting close to the end of the month, and I didn't have enough money to pay my rent. I was freaking out. I was in a really bad space. And we had done a prosperity class. It was spiritual economics or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And it talked about when you're feeling that, make sure you get in the vibration of giving. Don't get stuck in the, I don't have enough, lack. And so I didn't want to do it, but I got my butt out of bed that morning, and I went down to the little 5 Points, a cute little sweet little area in Huntsville called 5 Points, and I went down there, and there's a little coffee shop that I used to love to go to. I actually had tiled their kitchen when they took it over, and I did a cool little mosaic in their front window, and so the owner knew me. So I walked in there, and she's like, "Oh my God, I just got back from my vacation. I love the work you did," because I had just finished this mosaic thing. And I'm like, "Oh, thanks. It was really nice. I'm having my coffee, and I'm ordering my coffee." And there was somebody behind me in line, and he was a contractor. I never met before. I never saw him before. He said, do you do tile and marble work in that? I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh my God, our contractor just walked off the job. I'm in the middle of this huge project, and I need somebody. Can you come bid it for me?" It ended up being the single largest residential job I had ever had up until that point in my life. Isn't that amazing? And it was because I got my butt out of bed, I stepped into gratitude and abundance, and I got into the vibration, the law of attraction, whatever, right? the law of reciprocity, right? And it opened me up to that. So I thought, wow, and that was a huge, like, one of those life lessons, because I could have laid in the bed all day. I didn't have enough money for that cup of coffee, right? If I looked at it from that angle, right? So that's what I call it, gratitude, love, and abundance. This opens us up, So anyway, I thank you all for coming tonight. Yeah, have a happy, wonderful Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas or Merry Holidays is next month. So have a happy Thanksgiving. Look forward to seeing you all around. Again, come not this next Wednesday, but next Friday, right? We're going to be having a little chili. You could just come for the chili. You don't have to do all the setup if you don't want to. We have other people, but come for that too if you can. We'd love to have you. We can always use the help. But we're going to have a little chili cook-off, and that's next Friday, right? Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Namaste. Much love, joy, and harmony. Bye, everybody. Yay. My new CD? When Jeff and I get our heads together and actually get it done. All right. Thank you, everybody. That was really wonderful.
Can you sign off from there, or do you need to go to the?
Oh, I can sign off. Yeah, you're right. I got it. Do you know how to do that? Okay, so Steve's going to turn us off. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Good night. I think it froze. So yeah, nice little gratitude evening. Huh?